What is happening, AJ Gaming Dude here, and I figured I'd turn my channel into more of an Xbox-centric channel as a whole because it seems like that's the biggest news that's happening at the moment, and there is one very special reason why I'm even talking about this particular story here, and I'm actually going to get into that in a second. But it seems like Microsoft has actually approved that Ninja Theory is going to be making another game. So the guys who made Hellblade 2 are in fact working on another game in addition to Project Mara, which was supposed to be this horror game, so to speak, but we haven't seen much of it. It was just that singular video where there was this very realistic looking lady either sitting or standing on a staircase in a white room. I can't remember if the room was white, but yeah, it was this really strange video. But graphically, like, the video looked bloody incredible. With that being said, however, it should also be noted that at least for now, there is no idea or there's no plans that there is actually going to be any closure to the studio. That this studio isn't going to close, at least not yet. And looking at Metacritic, it's currently sitting at an 81, generally favorable, but it seems like critic reviews are pretty all over the place in terms of like it being good or great or excellent. Like, it's just in between the 7s to 9s, so to speak. But with that being said, the thing that I said about the studio not being closed is actually newsworthy, and unfortunately that's kind of the case because of all of the studio closures, the people being let go from Microsoft's game studios, their first party, and everything else in between. So the fact that they had to clarify for a moment that we are not shutting down, in fact we're working on a new game, that in and of itself being newsworthy is sad and an unfortunate reality of like what studios under Microsoft now have to deal with moving forward as they continue to make games. Because when I saw the review for Hellblade 2 by, I think it was Yongye, the top, like the most high, like upvoted comment was, the studio is going to shut down. Immediately that hit me and I was like, oh yeah, that is absolutely something that these guys need to worry about. Like, no matter how successful a game is, it seems like you can just be shut down for anything. And especially with the quotes from Sarah Bond saying each studio has its own level of success. Sure enough, but the person who has to dictate success the most is you as, you as Sarah Bond, you as Xbox. You are the ones that need to put that level of success in. Because level of success to you is going to be different to what the level of success is to the studio. That much is true. But you are the guys that look after the studio. You guys are the ones that own the studio, and therefore you guys should be the one managing things much better that way. Anyway, it is what it is. But that's kind of from the perspective of how Xbox has handled things, what their quotes are, what has been kind of going on, and kind of how this affects Hellblade 2 developer Ninja Theory. Because again, I am very scared and worried for Ninja Theory. Yes, they have made some interesting games in the past, like the reboot for Devil May Cry being DMC Devil May Cry. Sure enough, like, there was no need to redesign Dante, I mean, come on, but at least, like, it had some really solid, gameplay, and there are some really talented people out there. Granted, that sort of game was 10 years ago, but still, that is still a game under the studio's pedigree, so to speak. Who knows how many people are still there. But I want to get to, again, the more prudent information as to why I'm even talking about this, and luckily, this IGN article does actually have the information, which is to say that because some people have expressed concern for Ninja Theory after, Microsoft shut down 4 studios, specifically, 4 Bethesda studios, including Hi-Fi Rush developer Tango Gameworks, Redfall developer Arcane Austin, and the cuts come as part of sweeping layoffs, especially when they let go of 1,900 staff at Microsoft's gaming business earlier this year, all in a bid to obtain, Activision Blizzard, and on top of that, make themselves look a little bit more good in the eyes of investors in terms of actual money return investment and all that other good stuff that investors want to hear, that they are having some level of growth after rumors and information around the stagnation of Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass, rather, so to speak, and the fact that Satya Nadella, the Microsoft CEO, said that there is actually no red line regarding what exclusives can go on what platform in the form of Project Latitude, which is what I called Project Horizon in like one of my previous videos talking about this. So just wanted to make sure that that correction was in fact made absolutely from my perspective, like in another video if nothing else. And Xbox boss Phil Spencer has indicated that Microsoft's gaming cuts are the result of the video game market that is failing to grow amidst rising development costs, but Spencer and other Xbox executives are also reportedly under pressure to make cuts following the company's $69 billion acquisition of Call of Duty maker Activision Blizzard. So this is just kind of hashing on about what I just said about a minute or so ago. So yeah, this is kind of where we are. This is what the big picture is for Xbox. They bought a massive ass studio, well, massive publisher in the form of Activision Blizzard, and now the dominoes are slowly starting to fall, and I can kind of see the Activision Blizzardismication, whatever you want to call it. The idea of Xbox becoming Activision Blizzard is kind of happening slowly, where they're going to be nothing more than just a Call of Duty studio, publisher, what have you, just throwing more meat into the machine, so to speak. But I want to be proven wrong. I want these guys to do better, and I want them to put a decent amount of competition to Sony, because Sony needs competition in order for them to treat those of us that play on the PlayStation platform to treat us better as well. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened in quite some time, and in fact, they do feel a lot colder again because of the whole during the time in which Jim Ryan took over and now the new PlayStation CEOs. I could keep going on and on about that, but just to keep things sort of more concise, it's more or less about the fact that yes, while they're not shutting down, the main news story is that they have to announce that they're not shutting down Ninja Theory, and that in order to make it seem like as if there's actually any level of confidence from us on the side of people who partake in games, as customers, we do have a genuine concern for Ninja Theory. And like I said, had I not seen that comment on Yongye's review of Hellblade 2, I would have not even thought twice about it until I realized, oh, yes, that concern is very much there. So let me know what you guys think about all of that in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 200 subs by the end of the year, and with all that said and done, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.